How's that for a title? Reality check. That's kind of where I am. So, I stand here before you with no notes, no organized presentation, just to speak extemporaneously from my heart, doing a thing called free association, like whatever comes next. But I have a lot to share, so we're not going to be wasting our time. I start with the story of our beloved Amy Steinberg. Barbara and I were having our coffee. It was 6:20. We get up at 6 every morning. So we're sitting in bed drinking our coffee, and Barbara often gets on Facebook in the morning. I never get on Facebook. So something important on there, I don't know. But she's on there, and she hands me her tablet and says, "Read this." And it's from Amy, and it's explaining that her mother is in the hospital, that she was taken last night to our medical center here, and that Amy was at the hospital most of the night. And so it's before 6:30 that this is happening. And so I patiently wait till 7 o'clock and begin texting her and calling her and not getting any answer at all. And then finally, about 7:30, I get a text that says, I'm coming for the celebration, but I'm not going to do the concert. And I wrote her back and said, "Are you sure that's where you need to be right now?" And she immediately wrote me back and said, "You're absolutely right. I need to be with my mom." So she's with her mom, doing exactly what she needs to be doing. And I would say that the way this is unfolding is perfect, because I truly do have some important things to share with you as the beloved spiritual community of my life. So this is my opportunity. And let's start with a board decision. First of all, I want to say how much I love and appreciate those that are on the board of trustees of this center. They are holding in consciousness the very best for this community at every level in every way, and they're doing exquisite work. Now, I'm sure that doesn't look like what's happening to some of you. You may be thinking, why isn't anything moving here? Why, John announced that he and Barbara were retiring, it's been about 8 years ago, I think? And yet here I still stand. It hasn't been that long. But the idea is that we had a plan, we worked the plan did not unfold the way we imagined, which has helped me understand something about the science of mind. The science of mind is not designed for us all to have these pristine, lovely, everything works out, sweetness and life and light lives. The science of mind is how we process life, how we remember a higher truth that keeps us from falling into that state of despair that we just heard about in Cliff's song, and keeps us remembering who we are so that whatever comes, we can handle it. So our first round of looking for our next spiritual leader crashed and burned. It was supposed to. I didn't know that right away, but I found it out pretty quick. And all is in perfect order. Last month, not this most recent conversation with the board, but the month before, as we always are doing, we're looking, we're considering possibilities, we're seeing what is unfolding here. And we came to this idea of John and Barbara will retire no later than the last day of January 2023. We agreed. We went home, continued doing what we're doing. I will confess to you, this idea of a modified sabbatical is really not working. But that's what we were going to try to do. And now we had a date, and I sat with that date and said, I can't do it. I can't do that. I need to be with Barbara. So we had our meeting last week, and I told them that. And we came up with a new plan. And that plan is the first Sunday in September is our last Sunday. That's September 4th. It's Labor Day weekend. It's my birthday weekend. So happy birthday, John. Oh, by the way, today's Amy's birthday. I think you may have caught that earlier. And we're going to eat her cake. But we're gonna do something different on that day. We're gonna, and it's really Cliff and Devon that will be working up the plan on how that day unfolds. But what I'm envisioning, and I will share with them, is something as simple as Barbara and I are going to come up here on the stage, and we're going to sit in chairs, and we're going to put a microphone right there, and people are going to come to the microphone and say what they want to say to us. And that may be the whole celebration, although I'm sure that Cliff and Devon will have things they want to do as part of that beyond that. But to me, that would be the way to do this, so that everybody gets a chance that wants to, can come up and say something brief, and that we can begin that process of literally letting go. We've been accused of being a community in grief. And I'm sure at some level we are, because things are changing, and that's what grief is. It's the energy we use to fill the void of something that's missing, something that's gone. And that's what we're doing. And that's perfectly healthy and wonderful, as long as we don't get stuck there. So, wanting to be clear that we're not getting stuck there, I want to share with all of you that the intention of having a new spiritual leadership here is fully underway. It's not looking like I imagined it, but it is doing that exactly as it must for the very best for this community. And that means for all of us. So, I should tell you this, I should preface this before I say the next thing I want to say. And I ask for the forgiveness of our board members because I don't have any agreement to talk about this. But I'm tired of you not knowing enough to let you feel that we're moving forward. So I'm going to tell you some things this morning that I didn't ask for permission to tell you. When I was president of our international organization, that was the biggest criticism from the leadership council of that organization, was that John opened his big mouth way too much. Okay. And it has always kind of worked for me to work from a position of asking for forgiveness rather than permission. So, we've got a date, September 4th. John and Barbara are not here, and we're going to stay away. We are going to stay awake because that's the best thing for the community. We had this call this week with the head of our organization's field services manager, a dear friend. And one thing that she was real clear about, because I said, I have the organizational memory, and if anybody over at the center needs to know something, they can come over and ask. And Barbara Butte, Reverend Barbara, said, yeah, but you cannot go over there. And Barbara's in the process of retiring from her church in northern Colorado at this very time. How the woman does it is beyond me, that she can be the manager of that very active department and be the spiritual leader of a community. But she's been doing it for a number of years and doing it well. But she's retiring. In fact, end of July, she's complete with her community. And as that transition has been happening, and they've had a co-minister with Barbara for some time, when Barbara is in the room, and this person soon to be the senior minister on her own says something, everybody in the room looks over at Barbara to see if that's correct. That doesn't work. That just doesn't work. So it will not work for us to be in the room. You guys have to find your way without us. And I have every faith that you will. Again, with such a strong board and with a practitioner corps that is better than any I know, we're in good hands. And this place will do what it needs to do. And whatever grieving needs to happen, it will happen anyway. So we won't be around after that. Which means that because my agreement is to speak on first Sunday each month, this day is a gift, and the last regular message I'll give is 3 weeks from now. Wow. And that's after 27, almost 28 years that I say that. That just stops me cold. But that's what needs to happen, because the vitality of this community is of paramount importance not just to me, but to you and to all those people that are finding their way here, whether they're finding their way back or finding their way for the first time. This center teaches things that are not that easy to find, but they're incredibly important. So this is our work, is to make this change, this transition in a way that supports the very best for this community. And that's what we're going to do, whatever it takes. Now, when I was in leadership with our organization, it was often my job to work with communities that were in transition, especially those that were struggling. And I saw a lot of them go through great struggles. And I saw some other ones that did it so smoothly, it was hardly noticeable. It went so well. So what do you want to do? You want to make this easy? If you do, here's what I recommend. Keep showing up. Keep showing up in the room. And whoever is standing on this stage, listen to them. Because they've got something that will help your life. Whoever's doing it. Whatever they say, there's something there for you. And if you come with that mindset, you'll leave with something you didn't have. Equally, I invite you to support this community. Yes, this community requires financial support from those who share in it. Always has, always will. That's how it works. But don't just do it for the center. Do it for yourself. Because when you give to this center, it opens up a greater probability, if not absoluteness, that you'll get more. And it'll come clearer to you. That's what I've experienced all these years. The more I give here and the work that I've done with our international organization, the more I've gotten. And it has been a glorious experience all these years. And I am deeply grateful. So keep coming. Be a part of this. Let this place serve you, and you serve it. That's called a symbiotic relationship. And that's what we all need to have in our lives, especially in the area of spirituality, of understanding who we are in the midst of this crazy world where everything really is perfect and unfolding as it must for everyone's highest and best. I want you to know that Barbara and I love you, and that you're creating our legacy. So by coming to this place and supporting it through this transition, you're demonstrating that all these years of work have been worth it. I'm on this new kick. I'm watching Barbara's YouTube videos. We have smart TV, a big screen TV in our house, and smart TVs will let you just go to YouTube. So we go to YouTube, and I just put in Barbara Waterhouse, and all these videos came up. And so I've been in bliss, remembering this incredible presence. And what's interesting is, through this entire experience of Barbara's health, we have had ongoing things where we have new healthcare people in our lives. And I'll pull out my cell phone, and I'll pull up a Best of Barbara, and I'll put it in their face. Watch this. We did that with a doctor last week, and the first thing he said, "Well, who's that?" I said, "It's her." And we just stopped, and he watched and watched and watched until Barbara finally said, "That's enough." We did the same thing with another healthcare professional that came to the house this week. And he didn't want to let it go either. Barbara's got this gift, and she's given it to so many people. She stands up here, and it isn't that it's not what she says. It is what she says. However, it's how she says it that is the real essence of it. She always spoke with such confidence and clarity. She always gave the gift in a way that everyone could embrace it and use it to model their lives. That was the gift that she gave for all those years. And it was spectacular. And it still moves me every time I watch one of those videos. Because that's the woman I fell in love with. Yeah. When I returned home from a year in Australia, it only took me 3 days to find the center in Miami, place where I grew up. I walked in the office cold, didn't know a thing about all I saw was a sign that said Science of Mind. And I went in the office, and Barbara, I never tell the story this way, but I'll do it this time. Barbara came out from the back. She said, "Can I help you?" And my only question was, what is Science of Mind? It intrigued me. And I wish I could tell you what she said, but I don't remember. But I do remember that she invited me to come on Sunday, which I did. I came that Sunday. This was like on a Wednesday. I came on Sunday, and I sat in the same seat in that sanctuary that I sit in this one, right there. And I could not get enough of it. And I've met so many other ministers in our movement, and I would say there's a lot of them that I love very much, but I don't know that they would have captured me the way she did. They would have just totally grabbed my imagination on what was possible. Now, I just spent a year with a spiritual teacher, my first, that opened me up to the possibilities of life, but this was better. This was more. This was bigger than what I had heard. So I not only did that, but I started immediately going to classes. I was hooked. I was totally hooked on this, and I wanted it, all of it. And I encourage you that if you want all of it, come to class tomorrow night. Spend that little bit of time with us and see if it doesn't open things up in your life. Because that's what this teaching is about, is opening us up to who we are. Not to make us better. We're already amazing. We're already perfect. We're already powerful beyond measure. The thing is that mostly we don't remember that. So this place is about helping us remember who we are. I don't know of a better place to be. So keep coming. Keep supporting. That's important. It really is for all of us. So Barbara and I will be leaving our role in this center very soon. And some things that have pressed that for us are Barbara's health. And we've had some changes in the last few days. One is that we met with a palliative care doctor for the first time, something we resisted for a while. But he was wonderful. And he was the one that looked at Barbara's video. And he's the one that finally put some numbers around Barbara's mortality. Only in this body, not her. She transcends all that. But how long she can expect to be in her body, which was a reality check. It really was, because nobody else had dared do that before that. I'm not sharing the numbers with you because they're someone's guess, and I'm not going to stick you with them. But one of the other things that he recommended was that we create a relationship with hospice, which we have done. And the healthcare professional that came into our house this week was from Four Seasons Hospice. It's amazing what happens when you create a relationship with hospice. They pretty much come in and take over. So we've had one meeting. We've got another one on Tuesday with a different person. I've had 4 phone calls checking on her. And we've received this big box of supplies and medications that we don't need right now. But that's the nature of hospices. They prepare you so you don't have to run and get stuff. You've got everything you need right there. And it's really quite brilliant. And they're good people. What I'm telling you is that Barbara's not going to be with us for a whole lot longer. She's doing good today. She's told me 3 times this morning how good she feels. So yay. Yeah. But the cancer has metastasized in her body. And bodies don't survive that. Love does. That's what we've got. So my intention is to be with you until September 4th and then step away. Please, please do not get morbid about this. Do not glom onto her. Don't send me texts and cards in the mail that have that sense of deep loss. We're going to spend every day loving each other being grateful for this incredible journey, and loving you, whether we're in the room or not. It's all in perfect order. And yes, I have lots of tears about all this. I'm not handling this all that well. She's handling it great. She said she was relieved. I, on the other hand, am finding my way. So I invite you to find your way through this as well, knowing that all things are unfolding exactly as they must for the fullest expression of the divine through us, as us, and for us. And as much as that is true for us, it is true for you. I invite you to live in the light of Spirit with every breath you take, with every beat of your heart. Not expect the science of mind to keep difficult things away from you, but to use it to remember the truth so that whatever comes, you can do what you need to do, clearly, openly, lovingly, to have the life you've come to live. And if we all do that work, then we're doing God's work. What more could there possibly be to do? So thank you for indulging me these thoughts. They're what's on my mind. I look forward to being back in 3 weeks. I have no idea what I'll want to say then, but it'll be something. And then please plan on being with us on the 4th so that we can kind of celebrate our way out of here in a really good way. Yeah. And thank you for all the years, for all the time, for all the financial support that has made this really one of the premier communities in our spiritual movement. It's really about you. And we love you. Thank you. You don't have to come up here. Just turn around so that you can see them loving on you.